This is Edward Young's last film from 2000, Yi Yi. From the very beginning, it feels different. The pace is very slow, but not in a boring way. It feels calm, thoughtful, and patient. There's no fast music, no shouting, no sudden plot twist. Instead, the story flows softly, quietly, like real life. Conversations take time. Silence lasts longer than we expect. People walk, pause, and think. The camera follows them, but never rushes them. At first, this might feel strange, especially if we are used to fast-paced movie, where something exciting happens every few minutes. But in Yi Yi, the slowness is the point. Edward Young wants us to feel the pace of life as it really is, not jumping from one big thing to the next, but moving gently, moment by moment. And this connects to something bigger, something called reflexive modernization. This is a term used by thinkers like Ulrich Beck and Anthony Giddens. It means that modern life is starting to turn back on itself. The system we built, like capitalism, technology, and industrial growth, are now creating risks that affect everyone. And we can't just ignore this problem anymore. They force us to stop and look at ourselves. Beck writes that capitalism is its own gravedigger. That means the same system that brings us progress also creates loneliness, stress, environmental problems, and more. And now, we can't pretend these problems are separate. They are part of our daily lives. This is what Yi Yi shows us. It's not a movie about big disasters or loud conflicts. It's about people quietly facing the small but powerful effects of modern life. It's about families dealing with silence, regret, distance, and change. Let's look at the grandmother. Early in the movie, she has a stroke and falls into a coma. She stays that way until the very end. She never wakes up, she never says a final word, but somehow she becomes the center of the film. One by one, her family members come to her. They talk to her, they cry, they confess things they can't tell anyone else. She never replies, but her silence gives them space. It makes them reflect. She becomes like a mirror. When people speak to her, they hear their own truth coming back at them. This is exactly what reflective means. Not just thinking, but really facing your life. Looking at the systems, the habits, the choices you have made, and wondering what they really mean. And this isn't just shown through the grandmother. NJ, the father, also goes through a deep, quiet change. He's in midlife, he has a good job and a good family, but he feels tired. Disconnected, his life is struggling, his work doesn't feel meaningful anymore. Then he goes on a trip to Japan, where he meets his old girlfriend, Sherry. They haven't seen each other in years. Instead of drama or romance, they just sit in a hotel room and talk slowly and honestly. They share memories, they talk about regret, what could have been, what still matters. There's no big moment, no decision, but NJ changes a little. He becomes more aware, more human. That's another part of reflexive modernization. We start to notice that the old ways of living, work hard, follow rules, be successful, don't always make us happy. So we stop, we reflect, we begin to ask different questions. Now, let's talk about the structure of the film. It begins with a wedding and ends with a funeral. The wedding is for NJ's brother. Everyone dresses up, they take photos, they smile, but even here, something feels off. There's tension. The bride has a past with someone else in the family, and people are smiling on the outside but holding back pain inside. At the end of the film, there's funeral. The grandmother has passed away. Everyone comes together again. This time, they don't perform. They reflect. They feel. We usually think of weddings and funerals as opposites, one joyful and one sad. But Yi Yi shows us they are connected. The weddings feel like something is beginning, the funeral feels like something is ending. And that's part of the message. Life doesn't move in a straight line, it moves in cycle, in loops. There's also what reflexive modernization tells us. The old fixed ways of thinking are breaking down. Categories like success and failure, beginning and end, are no longer so clear. We have to find new ways to understand our lives. The theme also follows three generations. The first one is the grandmother, who is silent but central. The second is NJ, the father, in the middle of life, quietly struggling. The third are Ting Ting and Yang Yang. Ting Ting is a teenage daughter, learning about guilt, love, and responsibility. Yang Yang, the young boy, trying to make sense of the world through photos. Each of them sees the world differently, but their lives overlap. Their feelings bounce off each other. Ting Ting feels guilty about her grandmother's illness. She blames herself. She doesn't know what's right or wrong yet. She's still figuring things out. And Yang Yang, the little boy, carries a camera. He takes pictures of the back of people's head. When someone asks why, he says, because people can't see that part of themselves. It sounds funny, but it's also incredibly deep. Yang Yang wants to help people see what they normally can't. That's what Yi Yi does. It shows us what we miss in everyday's life. The quiet moments, the deep emotions, the risk hiding in plain sight. The film isn't about a big action. It's about small moments where life and death quietly meet. Like NJ talking in the rain, Ting Ting crying after cooking dinner, and Yang Yang leaving a drawing by his grandmother's bed. These moments are soft but powerful, they feel real. And then comes the last scene. Yang Yang gives a short speech at the funeral. He says, I can't tell people what I see, and I can't know what others see, so I can only know a little bit about my own life. That line stayed with us. It is so simple, but it says everyone. We each live in our own world trying to understand others, but we can only see a little. Still we try. That's what makes human. In conclusion, Yi Yi taught us something important. Life isn't about big answers or perfect plans. It's about small, quiet steps. It's about paying attention to the little things, the silence, the change we don't notice right away. A wedding, a funeral, a photograph, a conversation. They don't stand apart. They connect, they repeat, they reflect each other. This is the heart of reflexive modernization. We live in a world full of uncertainty. We see the risk, we feel the effects, and now we must look inward, face ourselves, not with fear but with honesty. We don't need to understand everything to live well. We just need to slow down, open our eyes, and keep trying. Because even in stillness, there's life, and in every ending, there's new beginning. Thank you.